can you really consider yourself traditional without making a judgment about what you're doing? But can you really consider yourself traditional if you're engaged in sex work?
Well, traditionalism is not so much more of a, like,
it's not my fault Eve ate the apple. It's just not. We're all supposed to be naked fucking in caves.
Well, I don't.
That's traditional.
Yeah, no, it's not really true. I mean, traditional is not so much like a political belief.
Have you
like,
guys ever fucked in a cave? Just curious.
No, because
maybe it's in the works.
Eve ate the apple.
Find some Taliban fighters in there.
We can't. No. It should be.
I know people who are Republican that are not traditional. Traditionalism is more rooted in like a biblical ideology, and it comes from more of a morality standpoint. So, like, would I consider someone doing OnlyFans traditional? No, not at all.
I understand that, but I am very traditional, very conservative.
How would
huge
you consider
Republican,
yourself?
Huge patriot.
She is.
Well,
you
again, you're Republican,
like,
but
yeah,
I'm not sure if you
that doesn't mean.
traditional.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I don't want kids.
You like RFK?
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just doing it with one person. I was just doing it with one person. It's just my boyfriend. It's like reality TV shows. I don't really believe that the way society, like, first of all, who says societal norms are correct? I think that society is built up so horribly. Like, we're supposed to be in our roots, connected to nature, and everyone's just kind of like living in this way that we never were supposed to be intended to live. Like, we're supposed to be like naked, living off the land, connecting to the universe. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I'm not fucking a bunch of other guys. It was just me and my boyfriend.
And what's more traditional than the oldest profession in the world?
Exactly. That's what we're here to do. We're here to reproduce, right? Like, if you're traditional, you're pro-life. So, like, we're here to reproduce. We're here to have sex. We're here to live off the land.
But you're not having sex to just have children. You're having sex to create content.
I'm having sex because
for your OnlyFans.
I'm dating someone.
But you're not doing it with just anyone.
No, I'm not doing it with just anyone. I'm doing it with one person.
Right. It's
Thank
like
you for the
50/50
memberships.
I have a question. So I was looking up some research on pornography, and the average age of entry for people who use porn, not even addictively necessarily, but kind of regular use at least, is 13 years old. So that's typically when, you know, usually a young boy, but sometimes young girls will fall into it or earlier. And that's just the stat. And, you know, in Utah, as an example, they banned porn for underage kids. You had to get age verified. And the biggest porn company in the world pulled out of Utah and said, we're not even going to do business there anymore because so many of their clients were underage and they didn't want to have to deal with that. So, I mean, knowing that there are so many young eyes on the internet, you know, back to the kids, because I know you said, well, you know, the kids is one way you can bring the conversation, but there's so many young children on the internet.
That's up to the parents. The parents shouldn't be giving the kids iPads. I hate when I go out and I see parents and kids out to dinner and the kids are on iPads and their phones and stuff. Like, I would never let my kids have iPhones
but you're
and stuff like
creating
that.
Pornography, and you're saying
I'm
you don't want
actually what I think though is I have a reality TV show with my boyfriend at the time, now ex. If you want to pay to see it, you pay to see it. I don't care.
But it's pornography, right?
I mean, it's the same, like, we have rated R movies. We make content that kids aren't supposed to see all the time. Are we not supposed to make it because they're accessing it? Like, there should be things put in place so that they don't access it. And, like, I mean, if you don't want your kid to go on the internet and by themselves in their bedroom, like, don't give them access to the tools that let them see those things. I don't plan on giving my kid a phone until they're, like, 16 years old.
Exactly.
You know, so, like, that's not on us.
How old were you when you first saw porn?
When I was 11 years old, me and my friends found a stack of nudie magazines in a dumpster somehow, and we, you know, took a plastic bin out into the woods and we preserved them in the woods because we couldn't keep them at our houses because we were so young. And you know, I don't think that there's any army in the world that could have taken these magazines away from us.
So kids are going to see it regardless.
What ultimately took it away from us
right?
was the rain, because it rained and it caused a lot of water damage and the pages were sticking together. But I say all that to say that even though obviously I feel like there probably should be rules in place so that an 11-year-old can't see porn, or it's difficult for them to see it, it also just seems kind of like almost pointless to even try, because you know that this is like the most fundamental base thing that a kid is going to search out, right?
So do you think it should be illegal to make porn in general?
No, like, I think also, like, as much anti-porn as I am, and as much as I would love to see it like completely banned, obviously that's not going to happen, but I think that there should be somewhat of a middle ground between people who are super anti-porn and people who are pro-porn, where at least there should be some sort of age restriction.
Oh, I am completely.
As she said, the average age of introduction to pornography, I think it's actually 12 years years old.
It's not supposed to be.
And the average age that a
And
child
that's on
gets
the parent.
the average age that a child gets a smartphone now is about 10 years old. So yeah, at some point they're going to be introduced to pornography, but a lot of these porn websites don't
Why
have
are the parents giving 10-year-olds?
Yeah, but that's
I think
either
way you're missing the point.
No, I don't think I am. I think parents need
think-
to parent better.
I think
Don't give your 10-year-old an iPhone.
My point is more so
Don't
that
give your
there's
3-year-old an iPad.
But
when
if
you're
you're
out to dinner.
if you're putting something out there in the world that you think is so harmful, why would you keep putting it out there?
I don't think what I'm doing is harmful because you have to be 18 to see what I'm doing.
But
So
that's
you
what
think
I'm
This
telling
is the
you.
thing.
turn
Okay, this
18,
is the
it
thing.
stops being
What
harmful?
happens
Is that-
behind
I just
closed
wanna
doors
understand
is always going to happen.
Can I finish
Coke
my
isn't
thought?
legal. Everyone does Coke.
Okay,
Like,
Isabella, finish your thought, then we're going to move
it's
on.
not my fault if
But this goes-
people
this
find
is-
a way to do things.
This goes back to the age verification thing that I was talking about, that Lila was talking about, is these, like, you go on the website and they ask you if you're 18, you click yes. There's no, like, genuine, like, there's no actual
Thank you,
age
Clara.
verification that, like,
That's
like
not-
any child can go on and access pornography. So you're saying parents shouldn't give their child screens to be able to even be put in a position to access it,
1,000%.
but
Children
you're
should be
providing
outside.
pornography on your
Okay, two
end
things.
to be able to.
Children should
that
be
children can
outside
do.
playing. They shouldn't be on iPads. They shouldn't be playing video games. They shouldn't be on iPhones, etc.
To add what she
That's-
said,
It's a very
though,
counterintuitive-
honestly,
It's
anything
not, I don't
nowadays
think.
is so easily accessible. Whether you give your child a phone or not, their friends are gonna have phones.
So
like,
this is the
word
thing.
goes around.
But why is the solution
That's
not
not
to
really.
give
That's
their,
not really up to us. Maybe you need to ask like the owner of OnlyFans to do a better verification. The owner of Pornhub.
But they
to do
have.
better
They
OnlyFans, you
have.
need a credit card, so
They
it's like
have.
already got pretty good verification, right?
They have.
Would you guys like start a campaign to demand that OnlyFans and Pornhub does that? Since you are,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't think
So-
kids should be watching porn.
would you work for, like, for example, Utah's law that says that there needs to be real age verification, and so Pornhub
ID verification.
Pornhub left
Yeah,
the state. Would you advocate for that federally?
Yeah, like I don't think little kids should be watching certain things, but also at the same time, people are gonna watch what they're gonna watch. People are gonna pay for what they're gonna pay for.
But
Yeah,
if
but
that's
If it's
the
not
case-
me,
but if
it's gonna
that's
be
the-
someone else. So I'm gonna make my money. No offense.
But if you could
But
make
I'm
money
su-
another
but I'm
way,
super-
would you opt out?
I've been Pilates instructor. I have 2 different real estate licenses. I've been the general manager of my Pilates studio. I've been a whole bunch of things. I have multiple different degrees. I live life like I'm on vacation every single day. I make more money than all of my friends do. And all I had to do was just open up to the world about who me and my boyfriend were. And we're supposed to live off the land. We're supposed to be in love. Girls are supposed to embrace their femininity. Men are supposed to embrace their masculinity. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong.
Christy, if you could do something else and make the same amount of money, would you?
No, because I'd have to spend a lot more time doing it.
Okay, if you could do something else and not spend more time
What would it
doing
be? What would it be?
If you
I think
could
he's
do,
just asking
Well, we're
if you could,
making
if
a
you,
podcast
okay,
too.
if your podcast
There's
blew
other
up and
things.
replaced your OnlyFans revenue,
I would continue doing both because I'll double the revenue.
okay.
So
I think
I'm not
is that
stupid.
it
when-
sounds a little contradictory because on the one hand you're
I
saying
understand
it
it's
creates
very
harm,
controversial,
and then on
and
the
a
other
lot of
hand
people
you're
don't
saying,
get it.
Like on the
but-
one hand you're saying it creates a lot of harm and you don't want this for kids and it kind of
No, I don't want
concerns
it
you.
for kids.
I don't-
Then on the
think
other-
it's
but-
controversial
but
at
you're
all. I
also
think
saying a lot of kids
that's where we're at.
access it and that it's
No,
everywhere.
I'm not saying a lot of kids access it.
Well, they
I'm
do,
saying
though. They do.
parents need to parent better. Parents are also sending children to public schools in liberal states, and they're pushing transgender shit
But do you think it's fair
all
do you
down
think
their
it's-
throats.
Do you think
There,
it's do you-
there
I have a question. I have a question.
this is what I care about. In a lot of elementary schools, there are books in the libraries.
All right, we're not
you
going
think
to talk about
Okay,
that.
we're not
Do
gonna.
you think
That's
it's
way
fair?
worse.
I think-
That's
I
way
have-
worse.
That's
way worse.
that's
I just have
wonderful.
one question. Do you think
way
it's
worse.
fair to demand the standard of parents when we're creating this very pornified society with tons of porn
I
everywhere?
think, yes,
to
parents-
demand that parents can somehow magically insulate their children from the extreme pornification that's accelerating in our society.
The
and that
only
the people involved
responsibility
cannot be
parents
responsible for
have
it.
is to parent their children, protect their children.
But should we as
so
a
why
society
are,
help parents? by
children
making society
can't
healthier?
get an Apple phone, get a computer. They cannot pay for those things themselves unless their parents are providing it.
But should we,
Parents-
as a-
yes, I think
but
parents
should we
need to
take
parent better.
responsibility? Should we take responsibility to
Yes.
help families and parents at large do better for their kids by not adding to the toxicity out there that is
you know what?
hurting
My
our
fans
kids.
aren't kids. My fans
How
are.
do you know that?
Because I know who they are. Because I'm in there every day talking to these
Have
people.
you seen their IDs?
I know who they are. They're unhappy married men that are afraid to get divorced because they made a commitment and they're scared and they don't know what to do.
But how would
and
they-
they're not
How would
they're
a
not
kid
being
get a credit card and buy an
satisfied.
OnlyFans
But
membership?
do you think it's
Yeah,
healthy
exactly.
for them?
No.
Do you think it's healthy for those men to be
I do
in
not-
that situation, cheating on
No,
their wife, unhappy?
I don't.
Then why?
But
who's,
it's not
who's benefiting
but
them besides
this is
you
the thing.
financially.
They should not have entered into that commitment in the first place.
I
That is a
understand
bigger issue
what
way
you're
above
saying.
me.
I understand.
And it's
what
not
you're
going to
saying.
stop with me.
But let me ask,
Marriage is a
Okay,
big
final
commitment.
thought, Isabella, then we're going to
Why
move
would
on.
you commit to a man or a woman
You want one thing?
if you
Okay.
weren't fully committed?
I agree with that, but why would we? I think we each have a personal responsibility to do good, right? And so if it's not, if it's hurting kids, if it's hurting couples that are on the rocks, if it's hurting addicts, if it's hurting these different people, why would we continue to be a part of it?
No, but it's not hurting them. It's them choosing. Everyone has choices in life, right?
Of course, but are
every
we
single
helping,
person can choose.
Are we helping or hurting those people that have choices?
They're gonna do it no matter what. If I'm in it, if they're in it, they're gonna do it no matter what.
It sounds like what a drug dealer could say. You know, they're going to do drugs no matter what.
Yes,
so I'm
everyone's
gonna
gonna
make my
do
money.
drugs no matter what, whether it's legal or not. Everyone's gonna do all of those things.
Go ahead.
But do you think
So-
that?
Hold on,
I
hold
guess-
on.
Let Isabel
I just
go
want to
and then I'll
finish
jump.
this thought. You know, you say that you're more so traditional, and I know you like talked a little bit earlier about parents should parent better. But I guess the same thing maybe someone could say the same thing about your parents in the industry that you are in. And, you know, to put the blame on the parents for giving their child access to screens, even though some of them may not even be accessing it through their own screens. It could be done through a library. It could be done through their friend's phone. It could be done anywhere. So to put the blame on the parents, but then have zero accountability on your part, be like, oh, well, parents need to parent better, but I'm going to continue to fuel out pornography as much as I want.
Because
But that's
first
exactly what
of all,
I bet,
love is
Nick.
unconditional. My dad's my business manager.
your
Second of
dad
all,
manages.
He's not my OnlyFans manager. He's my business manager.
Nick, don't
he
show that.
looks over all my contracts. But second of all, there are way, way, way worse things that I can't talk about because he said not to. In school libraries.
I'm a what?
Way worse things in school libraries.
Wait, I'm a what?
I said you can't. I said
don't
I
want her
can't
to talk
mention because you
about-
don't want me to talk about the books in school libraries.
Well, that's online.
I don't know
what
how
you're
we're getting
referring
to this.
So-
You made your point.
Let
You
me
go
just
ahead.
make my point. Adam said he was exposed to porn at 11. I was exposed to porn at 6. We just agreed that kids shouldn't consume porn.
I wasn't
Let me finish my
exposed.
thought.
Okay, that's
It's
not
like
my
saying, I know
situation.
kids are overdosing from fentanyl, but they're going to consume fentanyl anyway. Might as well provide all we can. And I understand what you're doing is different, but
No.
it does seem like you're conflating ideologies. You're talking about conservative values. We're preserving something between a man and a woman in the privacy of their home, keep
you're
the married bed
exploiting
undefiled.
that.
And you're saying, well, we should just screw in a cave. Those are very contradictory views.
Like, how can you say that? Like,
you.
you have a traditional view of marriage, but then say your OnlyFans is filled with married, unhappy men. You don't think that's
It's not my
detrimental
fault that
or
they
exploitive?
shouldn't have got married.
But
That's why I'm 33 and not married
But
because I
this is
take
the-
it very seriously.
But this is the problem, because it's so easy for people to consume and to go off in another direction instead of fixing their marriages. It's exploitive.
Those
it's
men need
detrimental.
therapy.
But
They
you
need
are
therapy.
also
They need
they
marriage
should get
counseling.
therapy.
But
But you're
you're-
filling
they should
that
get
void instead of
therapy.
having
But if it
them
was
help.
her-
Yeah, but
gonna
so
feel like
are
an actual
bartenders.
Yeah,
so
but
are
you're-
personal trainers. When I was a bartender, they would use me as a therapist. When I was a personal trainer, they would use me as a therapist. It's not my problem that they're not going to therapy.
There's a difference
regardless.
between
You're enabling
there's a
it.
difference
No, I'm not.
between
As a
therapy-
Pilates instructor, I'm enabling
No, no, no,
someone
no. I'm specifically
telling me
talking
their
about your
problems.
OnlyFans.
I know,
OnlyFans
but I,
There's
specifically
a
about that.
difference
but
though
I,
between
but I've
therapy and
been
pornography.
all those other things.
There's a difference between therapy and pornography. There's a difference between therapy and talking to somebody about, I'm having these issues in my marriage, how do I fix them, and going off and cheating on your wife behind her back. There's a huge difference. You put the blame on everybody else. The parents should parent better. They should pick better partners. When in reality, you have a big part of that blame, and that these men are going to you.
Okay,
and that
that's
these
the
people are
final
consuming
word
your
on that.
content.
Okay, so